Welcome back to GTD. We got the picks episode coming in for y'all right now. Obviously, if you haven't seen the football stuff from early in the week, go check that out. Also, F1, got Vegas coming up in a couple days as you're watching this, so another good episode to check out. But it is picks time. Keegan and I are dead even right now, 28-20 on picks.
With a few more weeks left to go in the regular season.
We both had a great week, too. He went 4 for 4. I went 3 of 4. My Tennessee vibes did not come through, but the rest of our picks did go well.
Yes. But yeah, now into this week, kind of a similar week to last week. We have one, maybe two big games. Especially the two big games you do very, very much shake up the playoff picture.
Yeah.
And then some other games we throw in there that could be fun. We'll start with the big one. The biggest game of the week.
Yes.
Tune in at 11 o'clock. Or if
UMass Georgia.
If you're on the West Coast, it's like, 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah,
so have fun
9
with that.
in the morning.
Indiana and Ohio State, undefeated Indiana, 1-loss Ohio State. Who do you have?
I have Indiana.
Okay.
I think they win anyway. I think that this team they've played no one. I will fully admit they've played no one, but also they have murdered
a lot of
everyone.
points.
They have murdered everybody, and Ohio State has struggled to do that. I think this is a close game. I think this is a very fun game. I think that Curtis Rourke has a very good game for Indiana in this game. Ohio State's secondary has been a little hot and cold. They've struggled versus some better quarterbacks that they've played. I will say overall they are a very good secondary. They can buckle down when they need to, but I think Curtis Rourke is good enough to maybe put some points up on them, and I think Indiana's defense is just barely good enough to hold on. So I think Indiana wins, but very, very, very close.
I am going. I do like what you said, but I'm going Ohio State. Rushing game almost dead even for both these teams. For what we've seen, Ohio State.
I think Ohio State has a better rushing attack than Indiana.
I do too, but I mean, as far as on paper, they're about even. But that's because Indiana's played lesser defensive ends or defensive fronts. Ohio State barely lost to Oregon. I mean, 1 point loss to the number one team in the country. In Oregon, yes, they almost lost to Wisconsin, but they still look like they look like a much better team when you watch them than this Indiana team does.
And many would argue Ohio State should have won that game if Will Howard knew how time works.
Right. And speaking of Will Howard, I've said this many times for picks in the show. The better quarterback is going to win in college football a lot of the time. I think Will Howard.
You're taking Indiana then?
No, I think Will Howard's the better quarterback. Both of these teams, I will say, both of these teams do a very good job of holding on to the football. I don't think turnovers are going to be an issue. However, if turnovers are an issue for one of these two teams, that team's going to lose. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4, maybe even 1. Turnovers will lose this game for whoever has it. But I'm going Will Howard over Rourke. And I just think I don't think it's going to be a 14-point win, but I could see a 10-point win for the Buckeyes.
All right, well, should be a good game. We'll have to see what happens. Next up, BYU at Arizona State. This is your favorite team in the country for some reason, in the Fighting Mormons. Just went down, took their first loss of the season. Now they travel down to Tempe, and they take on Arizona State. So you think the Mormons bounce back?
I do. I think they bounce back. I did see a loss coming for them over recent weeks, and they have not scored a whole lot against actual opponents that they've played recently. But I still have full faith in Retzloff. I mentioned in the episode earlier this week, if you've watched that, they don't turn the ball over very well. And that bit them in the butt against Kansas. They did turn the ball over in that game. I don't think that's a trend that continues. I think they get that under wraps. So for that reason, I'm taking Retzloff. No hate. I think this is going to be a very, very close, down to the wire Big 12 game. It sucks it's not at night because I feel like this has the potential to be one of those just shining Big 12 night games that you used to watch and that you still watch. But I think this is going to be a very close, down to the wire game. I think BYU by a field goal.
Give me Arizona State.
By how much?
I'm not sure. I think that this is a very, very underrated Arizona State team, maybe the most underrated team in the country. They were picked last in the Big 12, and Kenny Dillingham has them at 8-2. And I think they beat BYU. I think they make the Big 12 Conference Championship game. I think it's Colorado versus Arizona State in that game. Cam Scatterbo, one of the better running backs in the country. Sam Levitt's been playing great football for them. Jordan Tyson is a problem on the outside.
Yeah.
And I don't think BYU has anyone that can cover him. I don't think BYU can cover Jordan Tyson at all.
I'm not so much worried about BYU covering Tyson as I am Scatterbo. If they really need to lock down the running game to beat this team, and I think
they're going to struggle with both.
Well, I think they're gonna contain the run. Focus so much on containing the run that Tyson first half is gonna have a day. He's going to have a feast. He's going to score. He's going to have some chunk plays. And then maybe they bring it back and say, all right, let's start dropping back into coverage, make them hand off the football, then we'll go get him.
Yeah.
But let's worry about
This
both
game
of these
is
guys.
this game is in Arizona State as well, and I think people forget when Arizona State was in the Pac-12. This is not a place you wanted to go towards the end of the season. Think of how many times a good Oregon team had their season ruined by a trip to Tempe late in the season.
Yeah.
It happened a couple times. One of them to Jaden Daniels, Brandon Ayuk, I think, or at least Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if Jaden Daniels was the quarterback at that time, but still, Arizona State is a underrated environment. I think they are the better team, and I think they beat BYU.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, BYU by 3. I'm not. This game is going to be a toss-up. It's going to be down to the wire. It's going to be a fun game. Another what could be a very fun game, Army Notre Dame. That's our third game we're going to pick. Who do you have for this?
Give me Notre Dame. I just think this is one of the better defenses in the country and one of the better teams in the country. And here comes all they lost to NIU people. Adjustments can be made. This is a much better football team than the one that lost to NIU at the start of the season. And if we're going to give other teams in the SEC passes for losses, like Ole Miss with their Kentucky loss, why can't Notre Dame get... I know Northern Illinois is absolutely horrific. They are a terrible team. You should never lose in Northern Illinois. But current Notre Dame is a very, very, very good football team. One of the most tenacious defenses in the country. Incredible secondary. And people are going to say, well, that doesn't matter because Army only runs the ball. Well, guess what? Notre Dame knows they only run the ball, and they can key in on that.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame is just better. I think this is at least a decent game. I think this is closer than the Navy game because I don't expect Army to turn the ball over every other possession, but I do think Notre Dame still wins.
Yeah, you mentioned Army's running game, and I don't know. This is a game, like everything, like on paper, Notre Dame's a better team. Notre Dame should win. Notre Dame shouldn't really struggle all that well. Maybe outside the first quarter, if Army's running game can do what it's been doing all year and maybe break a run for a touchdown or just march down the field in one of these games. But with that being said, give me Army, man.
Bro's going Bryson Daly and vibes.
Give me the country. Just give me the country. Give me Army. I mean,
America.
You don't think these Army boys can't get up for a game? I mean, they can get up to go to war for us. They're going to get up to go to a game.
I just think Notre Dame is better.
I agree with you. I'm not arguing that. But I think Notre Dame's going to lose. I don't know. Give me Army. It's vibes. You've had like what 4 or 5 just picks vibes. So I'm going
all right.
Vibes and running game. I love old school running football. Y'all know this.
We'll see if they have another 12
pound the ground, baby.
Drive. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Then finally, we have Colorado at Kansas. No SEC picks this week for I think the first time this season, as most of the SEC teams are playing.
And you may be wondering, why we're picking Colorado, Kansas. Kansas is 4-6. However,
Kansas is also good. They've had
football.
They've had a lot of injuries in the part of the season. Jalen Daniels has not been himself for a lot of the year.
Looking good now, though.
Yeah, Jalen Daniels is playing good football. Devin Neal is a great player at running back for the Jayhawks. So this could be a sneaky game at least, and we decided that you've seen a ton of SEC picks, so we went with this over Vandy LSU or Florida Ole Miss. And for me, it's going to be Colorado. I think Kansas is sneaky. This is in Kansas, but I think the talent for Colorado is just too good.
Yeah, that's my reason exactly. I'm also taking Colorado. I was never one of the people. I know last year, beginning last year, before Deion ever coached a game at Colorado, everyone loved this team. Then he starts to lose. You kind of get forget about at the end of the year. Then at the end of the year, you see his record. Oh, Deion's not that great of a coach. Coming into this year, no one wanted Deion to succeed. No one wanted this team to succeed. They didn't want Shedeur Sanders to succeed. They didn't want any of this to happen. Maybe you still had guys who loved Travis Hunter, but there was a lot of hate with this Colorado team. I never hopped off the train. I said even their first game of the season against North Dakota State.
Yeah,
they almost lost that game.
I thought they were going to lose that game.
But Shedeur Sanders played good that game. He's played good every game since. He's one of the better quarterbacks in college football.
Well,
one of the best draft prospects. He's a superstar talent. So Shedeur Sanders is going to steamroll Kansas.
I don't think the issue for Colorado has ever been Shedeur Sanders. The issue has been the pass defense. The issue has been can the offensive line hold up? And those are things that have improved this season. Their freshman tackle who they brought in, who's like a 4 or 5 star, his name I can never remember, so apologies to him, but he has been playing incredible football this season. He's part of the reason that Shedeur has actual time now, and the defense has really gotten a ton better this season. So that's why you see them where they are right now at 8-2, and like I said, I think they win this game as well. But that is our last pick for the week. We will have some more picks for you again next week, and then rivalry week, we have something special for that with the picks episode. So keep your eye out for that over the next couple weeks. But again, if you missed the episodes earlier in the week, go check those out. Picks. Hope you guys enjoyed that and enjoy your college football weekend.